All right, what's going on, everybody? This is the In the Bag video, the one that maybe some of y'all have been waiting for. But with all that being said, let's get on into the bag. What's going on, everybody? This is JMO, and I wanted to say before get into the In the Bag video, I wanted to make a little change. I know in the video you'll see me talk about the passion. I'm not actually bagging the I have the passion, but I meant to take it out of the bag before, and I kind of just ran with it. And then after the fact, once I got done shooting this video that you'll see in here, I meant to take this out, but I am bagging the Undertaker instead of the passion. So that was one little change there. And then the audio is going to be a little just because I got a new camera for Christmas, and I'm trying it out now with some new mics and stuff like that. So hope you all enjoy the video. Let's get back into it. Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to the In the Bag video. I put a lot of thought and effort into this year's bag, especially with, if you didn't see, last week, I believe I made a announcement. I'm back on with the ambassador program for, Gateway. So I'm required to throw 50% of the bag, but that requirement, I love it anyway. So we're going to start off with the putters. I don't have many this year. I've got 4 throwing, and then I've got my putting putters here. I'm going to start off with the putting putters for 2025. It is the Negative Disc Golf O's. Negative Disc Golf being one of my newer sponsors that I got late last year. I've started, when I picked these up, I was like, okay, let me just give them a try, just go, hey, newer sponsor and all. And when I picked them up, I was like, oh my God, these feel amazing. And so I came out here to my little putting basket here and started putting with them, and I basically fell in love with them. So the fact that now I have a sponsor with a awesome putter, which nothing against Gateway or any of my other sponsors, but this one has just been the one that I've been looking for so long. And it's also beadless, which I'm a beadless putter, so very happy with those. And then on to the throwing putters, going from understable to overstable. The understable one I have is the Gateway Magic. It's got a cool little stamp there. Turn a friend into disc golf and then give this disc away. Well, I don't plan on giving this disc away anytime soon, and honestly, I don't know if anybody would want it. But this one is super flippy. It's like it kind of holds straight for like a split second and then just turns over. So I very much like this disc. It's not too grippy or anything like that. I think it's in a base plastic, but very much like this disc. I don't pull it out a ton, but when I have those understable shots that I need, this is the one that I would have. And then a newer addition to the bag is the Hooligan Disc Dime 2401. Basically, how this one flies is just point straight. Like it gets a little turn to the right, but pretty dead straight. And then it's also one of those ones that no matter what line, where you're going Anheuser or you're going just big hyzer, this is the disc that I would pull out for that. If I get it nice and flat, it's just going to ride straight with a little turn. It's going to get that, and so that's what this one is pulled out for. And then another one from Hooligan Disc is the Hooligan Cash. I love this one. Foundation ran this one with Trevor Staub's, like his little stamp kind of play off like a Monopoly style thing, which I very much like it. And it's kind of like I took out the pig for this one, and I know I used to be a big hater for the pig. Then Mr. Robinson kind of got me back into it, but then once I got this in my hands, I kind of fell in love with it. It's basically, it's not really 100% dead straight, but it doesn't have a super hard fade, but it gives you that little bit of a stable fade. So I very much like this disc. Probably going to be a staple in the bag for quite some time. And then last but certainly not least is the Dishcraft Zone. I've got a cool little bass fish on there with a cool like little water dye. I'm going to kind of get up to my camera here for a little bit of a closer. You can kind of see it there. I talked to a guy on Instagram. I'll put his name up here. But I talked to him and I was like, this is the disc that maybe not necessarily the zone, but this stamp and is kind of the one I've always, because I used to / still I am a big fisherman. I always love going out fishing with my grandfather or parents and whatever. And this is the one that I've always wanted. So it makes up for it. And very happy to finally have one. But I normally pull this disc out for mainly approach shots, but if I really need something like stable, this would be the disc that I would pull out, because the ESP zone, I've determined that it's probably one of the more stable zones that I've ever thrown, but maybe as this one beats in, it could fly a little differently. But like I said, mainly for approaches, backhand and forehand. But like I said, if I really need something stable off the tee, this would be the disc that I'm going for. So with all of that, now we're going to head on into the mid-ranges. Alrighty, so now we are here at the mid-ranges. Another one that I don't really have much of, but I have 5 of them here. Mostly Gateway, except for one. But the starting off, like I said, going from kind of understable to overstable. But this one here is the Element, the Gateway Element. Got this one last year. I took it out of the bag for a little while, kind of put another Element in there. But when I started figuring out, okay, what's the disc that I want in the bag for this year, this one kept crawling back, and it's nice and straight. Doesn't have a super hard fade, but it's pretty nice and straight. And also, it's kind of cool to have the Team Gateway logo on there. So very much like this one. Like I said, I had the Jawbreaker Z Flex Buzz in my bag last year. That's what kind of knocked this one out. But I kind of just keep this nice and straight. And this one, it doesn't turn as much unless I force it, but it didn't really turn as much. But I very much like this disc for those like just straight shots. And then the next one is one that was given to me by a good friend, Peyton. Shout out Peyton if you're watching. But he gave me this one. Actually, I think I borrowed it from him, but Peyton, you could probably clarify. But this one, it's the Prophecy, the Gateway Prophecy. It's normally pretty stable with like a good finish. What I would normally go with Element or the next disc that I'll talk about here in just a second. But when he gave me this one, it was pretty already beat in, and it's now really flippy. It's not like straight out of the hand. It's already going right, or if you're left-handed, going left. But it kind of stays straight for just a little bit and then starts kind of gliding to the right. I don't really throw it on forehand. I really don't throw forehand a whole lot anyway. But if I really wanted something to go right, when I don't trust my forehand, it would be this Prophecy. So very much like this one. It's second year in the bag. So hopefully it stays in the bag. Hopefully I don't beat it in too much, but I do have a couple backups to kind of, if it does beat in a little bit. The next one is another from the newer sponsor from Negative Disc Golf, the Ritual. If you have not had a chance to try this Ritual, man, I couldn't tell you how many more times to recommend this one. Every time I pull it out of the bag, everybody's like, man, what is that? What is that? Who's Negative Disc Golf? And I discovered them probably a couple years ago, but really started to look more into them last year. And then I applied for them, and then, man, when I got this one, and this is my team one. I've got a couple other ones with some cool stamps. That there is going to be a video going over how this one flies, how the O flies, and all that kind of stuff, and more about them when that time comes. But this one is basically it's kind of what the Prophecy used to be, but it's nice and straight with a little bit harder fade than the Element. So if I kind of want something to, sorry about that, but if I want something to kind of still go straight like the Element, but have a little bit of a harder fade, I would go this Ritual. So like I said, there will be a video coming out, I think next week is when I have it scheduled. I'll throw it somewhere up here. But I love this disc, and like I said, this is one of the ones that, even though, yeah, I'm sponsored by them and I have to throw this, but even if I wasn't sponsored by them, I would still try to make this work in the bag, unless Gateway or somebody else wanted me to throw 100% of their stuff. But very much like this disc. If you have a chance, go try it. There will be a link down in the description to this to their website, and then where you can give this one a try, and then the Oath as well. The next one is starting to get more into the stable side. This one is from another sponsor that I got. I'm now in year 2 of them, but this is the Astray. This is the prototype that they ran. I haven't got my hands on the newer, the first run of them, but when I got this one, I didn't think it would be as stable as it was, but man, this thing is. It's crazy how stable this thing is. Like every time I can get it flat, but it just starts going left almost immediately. I love this thing. It's in their like little base plastic. They do have a premium plastic one, but I love this one. I don't really have a need for too stable of discs, but this one is definitely one that I very much like to throw. For those, it definitely saved me some strokes last year at the tournament. The giant purple people savers, and I love this disc. So if you have a chance to try this one, it should be on their website. But if not, hopefully the first run will come out sometime this year. So if you get a chance to try it, I promise you won't regret it. And last, certainly not least, is it's a ghost stamp, but it's from the last year's Mega Glow event, which is another one. If you haven't had a chance to go out and attend that one, I promise you won't regret it. Hopefully he'll be doing it this year. Haven't heard anything about it yet, but hopefully he'll be doing it again this year. But this is the Gateway Warrior. It's not as stable as the Astray, but it still has some stability, but it's a little bit straighter. It has a little bit harder fade. So it's like it would go, if I like Element, Ritual, and then into the Warrior. Because the Warrior is still a little straight, but it has a lot harder fade. So basically, I would swap these two around in my bag where you got really stable, and then you got not as stable, but still gives you that overstable finish. But very much like that one, and I think it's a glow metal flake glow plastic. And so this would go in my glow bag. I'm still trying to make that work. I've got some of the companies that I'm partnering with now that kind of have glow discs. I'm trying to make that work. But very much like that one. And let's link all the descriptions to Adam's website and Gateway and all the other websites. So some of the discs that you've seen, all down in the description. So now we're going to head on into my fairway slot. So now we're in the fairway slot. I only have 2 because I'm not really the fairway slot. There's not really many out there that I like in that slot. Most of them are considered distance drivers, which I've got a little bit more of those than any other disc. But I've got 2 here. The first one is the Gateway Cyborg. This is another one that I got from my friend Peyton. But this one is probably one of the flippiest discs. Besides, if I had to compare it to something that maybe y'all have probably thrown, is probably the Latitude Diamond. I think it's probably the best one that's from ones that I've thrown. There's probably others out there, but this is nice and flippy. It basically, I don't throw rollers, but this would be one that I would go, basically turns over really quick, and then especially if you force it over. Definitely I would recommend this one if you're looking for something. Basically, if you're a beginner, this is definitely one that I would recommend for that slot. So, very much recommend that one. And then the next one it's the Always a Passion from Discraft. Basically, if you didn't get that, it's the Passion, but it was a fun little thing that they did here with Brody Smith, Paige Pierce, and Ezra Aderhold. This one basically is nice. It's nice and straight, and then it doesn't have like a super hard fade, but it has a little bit more than one of the other discs that we'll get to here in just a second in my distance driver slot. But nice and straight, but with a little bit of a fade. And because I threw this one at a tournament the Rail Yard Rumble. I threw this one. I didn't think I was going to bag this one this year, but the more and more I started to think about it, I made it work into my 50% of my freedom kind of thing that the Gateway's giving me. So, if you haven't had a chance to throw the Passion, I recommend the Jawbreaker Z Plastic. Very, very good disc. And like I said, highly recommend this one if you're looking for a nice kind of a straight with a little bit of a fade fairway driver. So, like I said, not many in the fairway slot, but like I said, I very much like these discs. But now we're going to head on into the second to last section, because I'm going to talk about the bag and a little bit of the accessories of what I carry. But now we're going to head on into the distance drivers. Alrighty. So, like I said, I've got 4 distance drivers, so 6 drivers in total. But I like to split them up just because y'all might want to talk about them. But I've got 4 here, starting from understable to stable. I've got this one. Like I said, this was another one I got at the Rail Yard Rumble. I didn't get the Passion at the Rail Yard Rumble, but I threw it. That's why I was kind of referencing there. But this one, I literally got the day of at the Rail Yard Rumble, because at the time I was trying to experiment with throwing an open bag for the first time that year. Actually, it was earlier this year, in January. But I got this one, and I was kind of messing around with it. But this thing is amazing. It's basically the same numbers as the Passion, but this is a 10-speed and that's an 8-speed. But the Passion gets more. It holds a lot straighter. It doesn't turn. This Trail from MVP is one of their newer discs that came out late last year. But this thing it gets a nice turn to the right and then comes back. But it's not like an overstable comeback. But this one, honestly, I think this one would be probably another staple on the bag for quite some time, along with one other distance driver we'll get here in just a second. But this one is amazing. If you haven't had a chance to try it, I highly recommend this one, especially if you're looking for somewhat of a nice point straight with a little bit of glide to the right fairway driver. So I got that one. The next one is the Latitude Royal Brand Grace. I almost had Wraith, but Grace. This is one of their lighter weight runs they just came out with sometime last year. I think it was pretty late last year, probably around October, November, somewhere around there. But I got this one at first because I'm starting to get more and more consistent with everything. But this one is nice, straight, but has a little bit more of an overstable finish to it. But I can kind of trust this one. Basically, like I said, the Trail is more straight with kind of a glide to the right. This one is kind of just a point straight, but have a little bit more of a harder fade than the next disc we're going to talk about. But I very much like this one, especially in the lighter weight. I'm a big fan on lighter weight discs. I can throw any weight, but I really prefer a lighter weight disc until I can really beat the disc in to fly the way I want to. But this Grace, if you haven't had a chance to try it in the lightweight plastic, I know most of the runs have been the more heavier set weights, like the Crystal Par ones. But I promise you, if you have a chance to try the lighter weight ones, it's more ones of the ones that I would recommend than anything. The next one is the disc that I've had for a couple years now, but I finally got it beat in to where I had to put it in the bag. Threw it at the Rail Yard Rumble last month, but when I got this, it was, some people wouldn't have guessed how it, with the way this flies, nobody would guess what kind of disc this was. It's the Innova Wraith, one of the first YBC runs that they did, but very happy with this. It's a star plastic, but I have this thing beat in now to where if I throw it on hyzer, it's going to flip up flat and right and not have as hard of a fade as the Grace, but it just slowly glides to the left, or like I said, if you're a left-hand thrower, it's going to glide to the right. But this thing is just, like I said, it flips up just not all the way flat or all the way over. It's just slightly a little bit. It's getting close to flat, but it flips up just a little bit and then pushes straight and then starts slowly gliding to the left. This has become one of my go-to distance drivers along with the Trail. But if you have it, like this one, it's kind of hard to come by. I have another one, but I found this one. It's in the 168 grams, and it's kind of hard to find it in another kind of a lighter weight. So if anybody out there has lightweight Star Robbie C. Race, send them my way because I love this run. It's not really super domey. It's got a slight dome. It's mostly flat. So very much love this disc. Go to Distance Driver. And then last, but certainly not least, one of the more one of my favorite dies. Got this one off Pastry Guy's website. It's the Discmania Metal Flake C-Line PD. This one is so stable. Like every time I get it flat, it just dumps to the left. But I don't really pull this one off the tee much. It's more like if I'm on a fairway, but the basket's more to the left, but I need a tight shot, I'll literally pull this one out, throw it on a big hyzer, and have it crash in. I almost threw in for an eagle on one hole at Oliver Park, one of my local course, and home course, I would say. But very much love this one. I got a non-dyed one at Clanton Outdoors in Clanton, Alabama. And I was kind of shocked to see it there, but when I got it, I was like, oh my God, I love this disc. And when I found this one, and it's I think another lightweight, 169. When I found this one for lightweight, and I was like, oh my God, that die is so cool. Like, I'll see if I can, you can kind of see there, gets a little bit of a kind of a swirl, and then has some little lines there, and also the gold makes it look even cooler. But yeah, so I very much like this disc a lot. Like I said, I don't pull it off the tee much, but this is one, like I said, this is that for those tight shots that I need when I'm still a little bit distance out. So, but yeah, that's all my discs. Now I'm going to talk about the bag and kind of like some little accessories of what I have. And then we'll do the outro right from there. So, see y'all then. Alrighty. So the bag that I have here is the Atlas Pioneer V3, I believe. I think it's the one that I have. It's nice and it kind of gives you a little bit more weight on the side. So if you want to carry more disc, I believe it's somebody correct me down in the comments. I think it's you can probably carry, I think the max is 22, 24, something like that. But very much like this bag. And I know a lot of people go to Squatch bags, grip bags, and all that kind of stuff. But I love the Atlas. It's less than $100, but it gives you the durability and everything that you would expect. And it's I have some cool looking pins here and some patches. I've got a Brody Smith American flag patch here. I've got a Robbie C patch. Obviously, I've got my Gateway patch. Dog Pound Disc, one of my very first video sponsors. Hopefully, going to have something in the works with them soon. And then, obviously, my Galacdiscs Customs bag. Then my pins up here. Obviously, Alabama fan, got to have the old school Alabama logo, which is my all-time favorite. Iron City disc, Eat Sleep disc golf, and then I've got a Greg Barsby one, which is a little tiny one. I can't really show it there. And then if you didn't know, I participated in the Ace race. Didn't really get to go to the event, having some call problems there, but was able to get a cool looking pin that they gave out. And some accessories, I've got my Atlas Scout rangefinder. Basically, I'm a big fan of Atlas. Then I've got a little Robbie C Junior towel from his company. There's a little partnership there. I've got a high disc golf grip bag, along with a JMO disc golf one that I partnered with Bryant Bag with. I use kind of both of those because grip, it's basically pouches are one of the things, especially in the summertime, that I really need. And so if you don't have any grip pouches, you must just not have any problems with sweat and all that kind of stuff when it comes to the summertime. And then obviously I carry some Sharpies and stuff like that just in case I or anybody else aces that I'm around Always carry like a little knife around with me just in case I need to cut something up, something like that. And then a couple of extra towels in the little side pockets here, and just a little accessory. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Now we're gonna head on into the outro, which I'm actually gonna do right here. So, thanks to all of my little my sponsors for this year, obviously Gateway, Galacdiscs, Iron City Disc, which is actually now called Magic City Disc Golf. And then Negative Disc Golf and High Disc Golf. And then one of the newer ones, Dotson Disc. Very happy to be partnering with them. Like I said, all of my sponsors' links will be down in the description for you all to try and give looks and all that kind of stuff. So thanks to all of them for sponsoring me for this year. Hopefully we can make 2025 the best year possible. Already on a good note, finishing fourth in my Rail Yard Rumble tournament. So hopefully, with me getting more and more consistent, and with the discs that I have here, some are. I will say this: some are could change. Obviously, I'll make updates, but for the most part, a lot of them are going to be staying the same for 2025. But with all of that being said, I'll see y'all on the course.